Hi, and I'm back with another game from the FIDE World Blitz Championship. So Magnus Carlsen, we saw the controversy in the first round. He then lost in the second round, but after that he managed to string some wins together, and we're now in the fifth round, and he's playing against Akobian from the United States. And Carlsen has the white pieces, Akobian the black pieces, and Carlsen opens with d4. We saw e4 in the first round where he played the gambit, but in this one he goes for the London system with the bishop on f4. He likes to play that both in classical and the shorter time controls, and we see standard moves here: c3, b6 by black. I play this with white, and I also play the system that Akobian is playing with the black pieces. So for me it is an interesting game to see the plans. But e takes d4, c takes and e takes on d4, these are more or less stock standard moves in this opening. You see the knights on d2 and f3, they almost always go there. The bishop is on f4, the white square bishop goes to e2 or d3, and the pawn structure is like this, but of course white has gone e takes d4 here. So these moves are more or less stock standard. d6 by black, castles, and knight goes to a d7, and now queen e2 by white. Now if black doesn't do anything, white will most likely play his bishop to a6, exchange it there, and try to go a4, get some play on the queen side with a little bit of a blockade going. So therefore black goes a6, a good move. a4 by white, stopping b5, which would have been black's next move. b5 and perhaps knight b6, controlling some important light squares. d5, c4 and a4. But now we see rook e8 by black. I usually go queen c7 here, but rook e8 is one of the two most common moves. The plan is to put the bishop on f8. White plays bishop h2 here. Playing h3, you give the square to the bishop on h2, so usually this is played in the London system. Here it's sort of a preemptive measure, not getting kicked by the knight with knight to d5 or pawn to e5, hitting the bishop. So these moves will not come with tempo. So a useful move, bishop h2. We see h6 from Akobian, and now rook e1 by Carlsen. Bishop f8, keeping with the plan. Carlsen went with knight c4. Now he's hitting the pawn on d6, so queen c7 is natural to protect the pawn, and now knight d3. Now an interesting moment in the game. Akobian played the move here, which is okay. I mean, it would be normal to play g6 and fianchetto your bishop on g7, that's the standard plan, but he played knight d5. And in the game this looks like a blunder, because, let's see what happened. Carlsen took on d5, bishop takes on d5. You can hardly take with the pawn, that's horrible. And bishop takes a6. And here, after only 2 seconds, Akobian took on f3, g takes. Here, but yeah, knight f6 and bishop b5. And this is just an overwhelming position for white. He has the bishop pair. Even though the pawns are doubled, the bishop pair is quite strong here, and white has an easy plan to simply make a passed pawn on the queen side, and that's going to be really difficult to stop. However, let's go back. Akobian could have basically ended the game here. Bishop takes a6 is actually a horrible blunder. Now can you find what black should have played here? And now that I told you that it's a puzzle, you should find it in 3, 2, 1. He should have played rook takes a6, and this would have basically forced resignation, because queen takes a6, bishop into c4, and look at this queen, it's simply trapped. The bishop is attacking the queen, the pawn covers a5, so these squares are covered. Queen is covered in the 7th, and the rook covers a8. No squares for the queen, no soup for you. my dear queen. So this would have more or less ended the game. But as you saw, Carlsen got away with it, and Akobian didn't look for his opportunity. Played bishop takes f3 a little bit too quickly. And yeah, after this, t takes f3. We already saw these moves: knight f6, bishop b5. The rook is attacked, the rook has to move. And now c4. He's simply pushing on the queen side. b4 is coming. Queen b7, b4. He just wants to make a passed a-pawn. A-pawn is pushed. And a very strong bishop on b5. That's simply a monster piece here. Okay, the pawn on d4 is attacked, so first we defend it, then we push the pawn. And now bishop d7. A little bit of tactics now by Carlsen, d5. And after e takes d5, bishop c6. Attacking the rook. And this is a bit of a dilemma for black, because you can't really move the rook because of this situation between the queens. And if you take on e3, f takes e3, the a-pawn is simply too strong. So Akobian decided to sacrifice the exchange, took on c4, and Carlsen of course took the exchange. And now after some moves, white is ready to push the pawn. This a-pawn is very dangerous. It might look like the c and d pawns give counterplay, but they're simply too slow. After rook c8, queen b8, c3, and now the winning move. Can you find it? Very easy. We want to queen the a-pawn, so what do? Take on c8, check. Akobian took, but he resigned as he did that, because white will simply make a queen, and this is game over. So a nice win by Carlsen, but he got lucky there. He got away with it, but that's what happens in Blitz. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.